is Titans Game Day.
All right, hello and welcome into another edition of Titans Game Day with the voice of the Tennessee Titans, Mike Keith, and Coach Dave McGinnis. I'm Chris Harris. Guys, it's a big day. Houston is in the house, and the Titans are wearing the throwback jerseys. Coach Mack is wearing the throwback Oilers jerseys. It's a huge day for the franchise and the team on a beautiful December 17th here at Nissan Stadium. First time they broke out the throwbacks this year, Will Levis threw 4 touchdowns in this building. That was a good omen. Today, Levis is coming off his most clutch performance as a Titan, leading the team to a comeback win in Miami after trailing by 14 points in the last 3 minutes. Mike, what did we see from Levis as he progressed in that game?
We saw him come back from mistakes, and that was something that was a knock on him through the draft process, is that when things went wrong for Will Levis, he would go downhill. And I think what we came to know in the pre-draft process is if that were true, and who knows, it's basically because Will Levis takes it so seriously and he gets mad at himself. And so they have really worked hard with him to not do that, to say, listen, you've got to put it behind you. He played well after the interception in the first quarter that was returned for a touchdown. And then after the bad pitch, he came back and played well again. I think it continues to show the growth in not just Will Levis, the quarterback, but in Will Levis, the professional. And that's what he is now. He's a pro player. He has to learn that. The greats threw interceptions. The greats made bad pitches. It happens. You got to bounce back. To me, that resilience and being able to overcome the mistake is the big win.
Another growth moment for sure. Now, this will not be a matchup of 2 rookie quarterbacks like we anticipated. Houston quarterback C.J. Stroud remains in concussion protocol. He will not play. Coach Mack, looks like Case Keenum, the veteran, will be the guy for Houston. What should Titans fans expect from him? Kind of an anomaly.
Well, I know Case Keenum very well. I mean, our hometowns are about 60 miles apart there in West Texas. Then he was with us for 3 years at the Rams in St. Louis, and in L.A. You know, Case Keenum is a lot like Gardner Minshew. He's just a dealer. He's a dealer. He's been in the league for 12, 13 years now, and there's a reason. I mean, he understands how to, and I can understand, why they're doing this with him, because the moment has never been too big for Case Keenum, from his high school days to his collegiate days, and now all this time in the National Football League. He's a perfect backup quarterback, and if he has to be your starter, well, then you know that you can trust him. So I know Case Keenum very, very well. So you've got to be able to understand that Case Keenum is not going to be fooled by a whole lot of things, because he's a really smart quarterback that understands the nuances of playing that position.
But he hasn't played.
Yeah.
That's the part you wonder about. He hasn't played at all this year, and he basically hasn't played. He didn't play in 2022 either. Is that a factor?
Well, I mean, it would be if he hadn't played so much before. But having been around Case for a lot of years, and having him be our starting quarterback at the Rams, because of injury, he's a guy that there's no panic to him. So we'll see.
Yeah, the video we had, a little bit of him at the beginning, was a couple of years ago against the Browns. We had to search deep for that one. Mike, the Titans pass rush hopes to make life uncomfortable for Keenum today. That unit has started to come alive. 8 sacks in the last 2 games, anchored by Harold Landry, who seems to be on the comeback.
That's the big story.
Yeah.
Harold Landry is doing Harold Landry things again like he did in 2021. And he has a chance to be that feared guy again. That guy who's got the leg twitching, and you could see the opposing offensive lineman nervously setting in a stance, trying to figure out what he's going to do with him. Harold does so much for the defense, too, in terms of not only the pass rush, but he'll drop back in coverage occasionally. He plays the run well. This is a big lift to this defense, especially not having Jeff Simmons again today.
Sure. Coach Mack, in the middle of that defensive line for the Titans, it's going to be something to watch today, right? No Jeffrey Simmons again. Kyle Pecco's on ER. No Tier Tart anymore. They signed Quentin Bohanna and Keandre Coburn. Jaleel Johnson has filled the role already. Big changes to the middle right there.
Yeah, there's changes in the middle, and so those guys are going to have to be – and here's what they need to do. Now, those are all veteran football players.
Yeah.
They're new to us, but they're not brand new to this league. So, and they will get tested. That center guard triangle today that we're trying to defend, they will test this front. They will test the interior of the front. And so you've got to hold up there very, very because just know that they're going to start bringing some of that run game right inside and up the middle to test and see how those guys work together.
Big challenge for those guys today for sure. A lot of moving parts on both teams in this game, so let's show you who's in and who's out.
The Who's In, Who's Out Inactive Report, brought to you by SeatGeek.
Yeah, a lot of outs on today's slate for the Texans. I mean, they lose some of their top dogs. Pass rusher Will Anderson, starting linebacker Blake Cashman, both out, as we mentioned, quarterback C.J. Stroud for the Titans. No Kyle Phillips, which you think means Traylon Burks will get more involved in the offense. Mason Kinsey is up. We're still waiting to hear on Azeez Al-Shire. Do we have an update with him, Mike?
So I'm just checking the inactives right now, and there are no changes from what we expected. And I think that's good news about the flu bug that's been going around. It means most of these other guys you would think would have a chance to be available. Now, just because they're on the inactive report does not necessarily mean they're going to play, but that's at least a first good sign that guys are going to try it. When you have a flu bug throughout the team, it is a bad, bad thing because they probably woke up this morning with somebody newly hit. That's just the way it works.
Sure. Lots of IV bags going in the locker room, no doubt. All right, Mike, when we're talking about Titans receivers, DeAndre Hopkins just continues to show he's one of the best in the league, right? Just 102 yards away from his 7th 1,000-yard receiving, and he's facing his old team here.
Yeah, I like those odds.
Yeah.
He has played against them one time before. He had 7 catches for 53 yards when he played for the Arizona Cardinals. But this guy just makes so many plays, and this rookie quarterback relies on him, gives him chances to make plays, totally trusts him. DeAndre still got it. That's very, very obvious. He showed it on Monday Night Football. They're going to need him to be big today because at least one of the receivers, Nick Westbrook-Akine, has been battling this flu, and so you don't know who else is going to be available to rotate through. Hopefully DeAndre's healthy, can make some things happen. Also think it's potentially a big day for Traylon Burks to get some chances with where they are with the receiving core right now.
Yeah, be interested to see. Coach Mack, let's talk about another one of the rookies that's coming into his own on offense. Tyjae Spears. Looks like Tim Kelly's continuing to find ways to get him into space and get the ball to him.
Well, I mean, he has proven so far during his rookie season that he can be a factor when he has the football. And look, he's even a factor, Chris, when he doesn't have the football. The other day, just when you start really digging into the film, he's an excellent chip blocker in the pass game. He can run individual routes. This guy's a football player, and this rookie class has got some football players in it that the league wasn't too big for them when they first came in. Roger McCreary was a lot like that last year. That's Tyjae Spears. It didn't shock me at all because, I mean, going through our draft process, looking at him, you just knew some guys just know how to play the game. He knows how to play the game, and he's exciting when he gets a chance.
As a pass catcher, too.
Oh, he's unbelievable. I mean, the one catch he made in the Miami game, the seam route that he threw among two. I mean, that to me, the seam route that Will Levis trust him because to throw a seam route on a guy that's taking off with two people on either side of him and for him to catch it over his shoulder like he did, this guy's a ball player.
Okay. Mike, the guys up front are the ones that create space for everyone else. And Monday night we saw Calvin Throckmorton sub in for Daniel Brunskill. What's that rotation look like today?
If Brunskill's healthy, I think it's going to be Daniel Brunskill. I think he's going to play today. But again, he was added to the injury report with illness yesterday. Throckmorton got a lot of snaps and is ready to play if need be. But I think the idea will be they will go back to Brunskill. I do like the fact that they got Throckmorton in. He's played earlier in the season for Carolina. They waived him just because they needed a roster spot. They thought they would get him back, and the Titans claimed him. So he's a veteran player. He could go today if need be, but, man, would like to see that first five have a fourth straight game be together in the offensive line.
That would be huge for sure. All right, Monday night's win, definitely something to build off of down in Miami. So let's bring in Lauren Walsh, shall we? Lauren, in talking with the guys in the locker room this week, the comeback, it's something that they think can be a galvanizing thing, I'd imagine.
Well, Chris, we know momentum can fluctuate a lot in this league, and right now the Titans have it. They're building off that wild win, as you mentioned, over Miami, and that win really serves as a blueprint for what this team can do when they're executing at their peak. The result was thrilling for the players on the field as well as the fans, of course. The Titans scored 15 points in a matter of a minute in the fourth quarter. It was execution, excellence from the offense, and shut down defense to top it all off. The players said it was a really fun plane ride home, and that win really sets the tone for the expectations of this group and what they can accomplish going forward.
A big boost. Hopefully guys have a lot of confidence, in what we practice, and a lot of things showed up in, a lot of the stuff we do practice, situational wise, whether it's 2 minute for the offense or 2 minute for the defense, having to get a stop at the end.
It's what we work for. I mean, it was rewarding because, we put a lot of work into this. Haven't seen all the fruits of the labor throughout the season, but to have a game like that against a big team like that in a primetime game, it was rewarding just to be able to put that out there. Too, it's also just a confidence booster for us going forward the rest of the season.
And I think momentum is huge, you know what I mean, and start to build, like you said, build wins and then gain confidence along the way and finish the season strong.
And today's game could be very telling when we look at the Titans and how they're going to finish this season. Because even with the momentum from Miami, a lot has changed since then. Guys have been injured, sick, and even released in terms of Tierre Tart. So we'll see if they can use that boost to still overcome that adversity in the depth department today, Chris.
Lauren, thank you very much. And you're right. And guys, the team has 4 games left, including today. 2 are against Houston. I'm curious to see if they can kind of make a little run out here. A month ago, that would have been the furthest thing from my mind, given their situation. But it's impressive kind of how they've been able to get it together, hasn't it?
Absolutely. They're getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it in the win over Carolina. We saw them do a lot of good things in the game against Indianapolis, but shoot themselves in the foot on special teams. And then between the mistakes, they were doing a lot of good things on Monday night against one of the top teams in the AFC. So can they continue that improvement? If they can, they've got a good shot to win this football game today.
Confidence is a huge boost, isn't it?
Well, it really is. And the number of first-year players that the Titans are playing this year, you would expect development as the year goes. And if you see development week to week to week, then you're going to live with some rookie mistakes. You're going to live with that. But as long as you see improvement, and then when you do something like they did down in Miami, in that type of an environment, that's just a huge boost.
No question about it. All right, still to come on the show. Today's Titans legend of the game joins us. Kevin Dyson stops by to chat. The man was involved in 2 of the most famous plays in team history, and he's also donned that Tennessee Oilers helmet. And up next, we see what the Macmoji has in store. Coach Mac's 3 and outs when we return here on Titans Game Day.
Here's your 3 and out with Coach Mac.
Okay, here it is, the 3 and out slate that's going to lead to a victory today. So says the Macmoji, and he is never wrong. Keep it rolling. How about getting back-to-back wins for the first time all season, right? Build on the momentum. You also got to stop the self-inflicted wounds. And complimentary football, when they play it, well, they just win games. That's how it works. Coach, let's start with the momentum aspect. If they can build on something like what happened on Monday night, it's just all gravy going forward.
Well, it really is. And we talk about a young football team, but the rewards in this business are winning ball games. So success, that's the reward for playing this game, and you need to build on that. And I think everybody that's watching us now, everybody in here that's listening, they know what that feeling felt like after we won. That's one of the greatest feelings in the world, but you have to build on that, and you have to build on it technically, but you also have to build on it emotionally, because this is an emotional game. This one will be today, so build on that.
With young players, how do you eliminate unforced mistakes?
Well, the unforced errors, and first of all, Mike, when I was coaching, that comes to the individual players. That is the individual players, because it's not like a whole group is doing the unforced errors. Those are individual things. So you talk about false starts. You talk about trying to field a punt that bounces around with people around you. Those things are individuals that you – now, as a coach, you point it out. But sooner or later, the professional football player has to take it upon themselves to correct those. That's how you correct it.
Complimentary football, Coach. It's Mike Vrabel's thing. He talks about it every week. They've gotten some moments from all 3 phases that have led to scores. How do they do more of those?
Well, we saw it last week. I mean, last week in that ball game, let's just be completely honest. You won the ball game, you lost the ball game, then you won the ball game. And so complimentary football had to play into that. And each aspect of that game was the reason why we won it, and then when we put ourselves in a position to lose it, and then when we came back to win it. Keep the constants of what helped you win. Keep working those things together. We had a brand-new punter last week, did a tremendous job. We've got to continue that this week, too.
The 3 keys to victory. It's just that simple. So says the Macmoji and Coach Mac. All right, up next, former Titans receiver Kevin Dyson joins the show. We're going to relive some moments from his era with the team. Stay with us as Titans Game Day rolls on. Okay, former Titans great Kevin Dyson joins the show now. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, yeah, no question. All right, when you see the old throwback Oilers jerseys that you got to play in as the Tennessee Oilers for a year, what does it make you think about?
It goes back to my childhood. I'll say this, man. I don't even want to admit it, but I'm going to have to. I grew up a Cowboys fan. And so seeing, the battles of Texas and Houston Oilers and the old Cowboys, man, it just takes you back to Billy White Shoes and Earl Campbell and all the guys, man. I think it's such a special thing to be able to pay homage to a lot of guys that paved the way even for me and then the guys that even after me. So this is a great tribute to a lot of people that blood, sweat, and tears for this franchise.
Kevin, you're the legend of the game today, and there's a karma to it based on the events of the last week. We know you're the guy who caught the lateral from Frank Wycheck on the Music City Miracle, and honoring Frank Wycheck today, something very special to you.
What's interesting, I got asked to do this before his passing, and I almost turned it down that time, and then I almost turned it down again. And I just thought, you know what, man, I'm always going to be associated with this man. I think it's out of respect for Frank and what he means to me, means to this franchise, means to all my teammates that have been in town and you all have been around. It would be a sign of disrespect if I didn't at least honor him the way I want to today. It was interesting, people Googled his name and then my picture pops up. So be able to kind of send him out in a special way, hopefully, today, man, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Kevin, we'd be remiss if we let you get out of here without asking you about the Titans' new quarterback, Will Levis.
Yeah, man.
Looks great. A guy you would have loved to have played with?
I tell you what, I think you see the transformation and the maturation. He's a guy you see who's starting to get more comfortable in that leadership captain seat. He's starting to get more vocal, more animated, more everything. You see him rallying the troops a little more. In the first couple games, he's kind of feeling his way. You just saw the big arm. You saw him make plays. But as we get there more and more, he's even getting into veterans' faces and things like that. And I think as a guy, as a veteran guy, and you have a young guy coming in midway through the year, however many games we were into the season, and you see a young guy that's willing to put it all on the line and risk it all and be vocal, I'll say, okay, that's our quarterback. I think regardless of what happens between him and Tannehill, and if Tannehill came back, whatever, I think at that moment you start seeing a guy who can say, no, that's not right, or no, I need you to do this. Even being a young guy who's at that point with 3-4 games in, it's like, okay, I can go with this guy. This is our quarterback. And now you see that confidence build and build and build. Now, you got to get rid of some of the bonehead plays, but that's football. That's going to happen. Sometimes you make assumptions, you make the wrong read, the wrong throw, the drop a pass, whatever it may be. And that's going to come with the years of experience. But I love with the progression that we're seeing in him, and I just expect some big things from him for the next few years.
Cool. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your day, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Kevin Dyson, former Titans greats. Okay, let's go back down to the field where Lauren Walsh is standing. Thank you, sir, with Titans senior writer Jim Wyatt. Lauren, what is Jim's thing to watch for today in this game?
Yeah, well, Chris, in terms of the keys of the game, we'll start with a tried-and-true storyline in this league. A guy facing his old team, DeAndre Hopkins, taking on the Texans today. What do you think we'll see out of him?
Well, he kind of downplayed it this week in the locker room, but you know it means something to him. The Texans traded him to the Cardinals a couple of years ago. This is only the second time he's faced the Texans. I do think he's genuine in that he respects and appreciates the love he still gets in Houston. It's where he lives. That's where his family lives. But, deep down he wants to say, hey, remember me, and have a big game. DeAndre Hopkins has been really good for this team. He's closing in on 1,000 yards for the season, and I think he'll continue to be Will Levis's go-to guy today.
Another one of Will Levis's go-to options comes out of the backfield, and you can kind of pick your poison, Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. How have you seen that 1-2 punch evolve?
Well, you're seeing more of Spears, and you're seeing more in the passing game as well. Titans fans that have followed this team since Derrick Henry's arrival, it's different, hard to get used to. You're used to seeing Derrick Henry on the field every snap, getting all kinds of carries. He still has a big role in this offense, but Tajay Spears and what he can do brings a different dynamic to this team. I thought he played really well in Miami, and I think they're going to continue to try to get him involved in the game plan.
And Jim, your last key comes from the defensive line. Of course, T.R. Tart is no longer on this roster. It looks like Quinton Bohanna, a Tennessee guy, could be the one to step in.
Yeah, 360-pounder. He'll be easy to spot out there, and he's excited about it. The Titans brought in 2 guys during the course of the week to kind of fill the void that's left behind, by T.R. Tart and Kyle Pecco. It's a tough situation to be thrown into the game plan week of, but I thought both those guys did well. Bohanna's excited about being back in the state of Tennessee, excited about playing, and he's going to be easy to spot out there.
Great opportunity for him. Surely he'll have plenty of fans in the stands today. We'll keep an eye on him. Chris?
All right, Lauren, Jim, thank you very much. Up next, we make our picks for Sunday Night Football right here on WSMV. Stick with us. Sunday Night Football right here on WSMV. Baltimore at Jacksonville. Big game for both teams. Who you got?
Anybody but Jacksonville.
That's right.
Anybody.
Coach?
Poe. They're playing Jacksonville? Who cares? Poe.
Yep. Clean sweep for the Baltimore Ravens tonight. Let's see what happens. You can, again, watch it right here on WSMV. That's all the time we have for now. Titans against Texans and the Oilers throwback noon kick here at Nissan Stadium. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Tighten up.